SJ. Welcome to Mvskoke Radio, your weekly source for tribal and community news, interesting guests and discussions, plus a local events calendar. SJ, Stongo, Gary 5, Jaho Jefkidos, Mvskoke Radio, Mabo Hedged of Wedgekis. There you are, Kelly. There's your word of the day there. Stongo, how you doing? And how are you doing to our listeners here on this beautiful day here in the wintertime here in Homogi? It's gorgeous out there. I want to thank our Creator for giving us this and blessing us with this. Now, we would like to change the pace of a few things here if we can. What I would like to do, since we've got so much heavy-duty news going on and news of conflict and people just not wanting to get along or having different ideas about what's going on in the country and who they should support and stuff, I don't think it's doing us any good. We need to have some more positive stuff there, and think, okay, well, things are moving along, so let's deal with them. All right, well, to do that, we're going to take a short little drop back into the fall of the 2020s when this town recognized Indigenous Day and had an observance here. So we're going to take a few minutes here to kind of reminisce over some of that and give us a listen of what happened back then. So stay with us. In our second segment, we're going to be talking about mentoring youth. It's a very important subject.
Be with our words, be with our actions, and be with our thoughts, Lord. Lord, I ask that you be with those out there that have been affected by this virus, Lord. Lord, if they're hurting in any way, Lord, I just ask that you just send a special blessing, Lord. Comfort them the only way that you can comfort them, Lord. And Lord, again, I just thank you, Lord, for what this day means to us, Lord. Lord, again, so I just ask that you be with us, Lord. Look after us and help guide and direct us, Lord. But Lord, again, I just thank you for all that you have given us, Lord, and all that you have brought us through, Lord. In your name I pray. Amen. And I'll say a few things. But I just want to say Mado to Brenda for just putting this on, being very socially conscious about what's going on and what today means. You know, I want to thank Brenda for helping take this day back. You know, historically the second Mondays in October is Columbus Day, but we know all the false truths that the Columbus Day, what it means. And so I just appreciate what Brenda has done as promote that this is Indigenous Day, and this is our day to celebrate, and we're going to take the second Monday back in October back. This isn't about, we weren't discovered, we were always here. We weren't found, we always knew who we were. And so this is what today is about, just celebrating who we are, who God made us. And so I just want to again just say thank you, Brenda, for what you've done, and Mado.
Thank you. Mado. Gordon?
Good morning to each and every one of you this morning time. I want to thank Mr. Dale Beaver for his words of encouragement and acknowledgement of our peoples. And I want to acknowledge my newly found relative here, Brenda Golden. God bless you today. And thank you for inviting us over and making a relationship with me and my wife. You know, and we come up here to support, come up here to acknowledge who we are as Indigenous people here to this land. And like my relative was saying, we were always here. We always had a story to share of this land. And coming through these past couple weeks here today, was thinking about some ancestors traveling up this way. You know, I said a little prayer in my car and talked to my relatives and talked to my folks and my grandfathers. And I said I was going to come over here and render a song of my people. And it talks about this flag that this nation, what it represents. But it even goes farther back than that, because our forefathers, me as a Kiowa, we had warriors way before this 1775, I believe, or somewhere in there. But we found these things, and we share these things with folks and people. And these are just teachings handed down. These songs are not written in any form or fashion. They're passed down through oral traditions from uncles, grandfathers, brothers, nephews. So I come here to share this music with you, representation of my people. My name is Gordon Lee Imhula. Imhula is the correct pronunciation of that. Its translation is coming to kill his enemy. So these warrior-like deeds that my family have come through, thinking about them today. So I thank the Creek Nation people, Mvskoke people, for allowing us to be upon your land here today. And I bring good tidings and well wishes to each and every one, from the youngest to the oldest here. So bear with me here. I'm going to render our Kiowa flag song. Please stand and remove your hats, if you could, please. Thank you. Aho, thank you.
And next we'll have Principal Chief David Hill come up and say a few words and read his proclamation. And just remember, in a few minutes we're also going to be serving lunch. But first we'll have Principal Chief David Hill and Mayor Richard Larrabee before we start serving. Thank you. We're very honored to have our chief here today.
First of all, Mado, Brenda, for doing all this. Thank you very much. It's a privilege and honor to be here today. As you well know, we kind of celebrate this holiday differently. We're all Indigenous people, and a very important day for all of us. All the struggles and trials we went through, coming back on the Trail of Tears. So this means a lot to all of us. As you get older, glasses come into play. The Mvskoke Creek Nation supports the city of Okmulgee in declaring October 12, 2020 as Indigenous Peoples Day. This day celebrates Native Americans and commemorates their shared history, cultural, and sovereignty rights. We appreciate your thoughtfulness and show our gratitude towards the relationship we have with the Okmulgee community. Mvskoke culture has flourished within the Mvskoke Creek Nations, towns, and communities, even though our culture was disrupted and destroyed several times. We have endured and prospered. I urge our citizens, constituents, partners, agents, and members of our tribal communities to unite in observation and observance of Indigenous rights and in honor of Indigenous cultural and philosophy to empower the Mvskoke Creek Nation. With the fundamental support of ongoing programs for our Indigenous people, health, and well-being. We look forward to working with the City of Okmulgee for the future of our people. October 6, 2020, or October 12th, I'm sorry. And this will be sent to Mr. Mayor Richard Larrabee.
Always takes a minute to figure out how to hold those proclamations for a picture. I'm very thankful to be here today, and I want to say a couple words before I present this proclamation on behalf of the city. I think we are so blessed in Okmulgee to be a city that is the home to a capital of an entire nation, to Creek Nation. And I think I am blessed personally to be able to serve alongside your Chief David Hill and Second Chief Dale Beaver, and thankful for their leadership in our community. I have not seen Tara Beaver here today. Is Tara here somewhere? Wave at me, Tara, if you see me. I want y'all to know Tara was instrumental in getting the sign out on Highway 75. And once it was up, we kind of teased a little bit because we said, okay, next year we need a sign that covers that entire overpass so that no one can drive through Okmulgee without knowing that today is Indigenous Peoples Day. But I'd like to read this on behalf of our city. Whereas the City of Okmulgee recognizes that Indigenous peoples of the land that would later become known as the Americas have occupied these lands since time immemorial. And whereas Indigenous peoples have made many contributions to our community by their knowledge, labor, technology, science, philosophy, arts, and deep cultural and spiritual contributions that have substantially shaped the character of many of the citizens of Okmulgee. And whereas their customs and traditions are respected and celebrated as part of a rich legacy throughout the United States, and whereas policies and practices that reflect the experiences of Indigenous peoples ensure access and opportunity and honor our nation's Indigenous roots, history, and contributions are promoted in the City of Okmulgee. And whereas Resolution Number 2018-9-02 established Indigenous Peoples Day in the City of Okmulgee and is to be celebrated on the second Monday in October each year. Now therefore I, Richard Larrabee, Mayor of the City of Okmulgee, Oklahoma, do hereby proclaim the 12th of October 2020 as Indigenous Peoples Day in the City of Okmulgee, Oklahoma, and urge all officials and the general public to join in this celebration. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Okmulgee to be affixed on this 12th day of October 2020.
Now we'll have an official welcome from our National Council representative of the Okmulgee District. And we're going to start serving food over here to the right. Free food for as long as it lasts. We've got corn soup, black-eyed peas, goulash, fry bread, cornbread. I can't think what else, but come help yourself. We'll be serving until it's gone. Come on up, Will.
Thank you, Brenda. Chief, Second Chief. My name is Councilman William Lowe from the Okmulgee District. Right now, I'd like to take a couple of seconds to introduce some fellow council representatives. Representative Joe Hicks. Raise your hand, sir. Representative Charles Son McHenry. Is there any other council representatives out here? Again, Mayor, thank you for your kind words, the proclamation, Chief, outstanding words. I just want to welcome you all to today's event. I, number one, first and foremost, want to welcome you to the Mvskoke Nation Reservation. This time of year, this is a great day to celebrate our indigenous culture. But on the other hand, it's our time to come together as tribal citizens and unite more than ever. So I just want to say, enjoy yourselves, shop with the vendors, spend a lot of money with them, appreciate the food. Again, welcome. Mado.
Okay, Chief, let's start with you. Why is it so important that this celebration take place?
Well, originally it's Columbus Day, 1492, but, to us it's Native American Day, Indigenous Peoples Day that we celebrate differently, and it's just our history and culture, who we are. Coming on Trail of Tears, all the struggles that we had coming through and starting out with nothing, walking on Trail of Tears, lost a lot of dead, over 3,000. You come here to rebuild what we have today, and you got to remember all the previous administration before me in the early 1900s on what we're going through, went through the Oklahoma Land Run, and all through history since then. We've overcome that. As strong people, that's who we are, and it's just time to celebrate, really who we are today. And I appreciate the mayor for doing this, and definitely since I've been in office, and as well as Mayor Larrabee, our relationship, I think, has been good, and if anything, we're going to make it stronger.
Okay, Mayor Larrabee, what are your thoughts on this observance?
Yeah, I'd like to reiterate what Chief Hill said. Just the relationship has been incredible. But stepping back a little and talking, when I was younger and I grew up in Gosh, Maryland, I think was when I was in first grade and we all learned Columbus Day. The impact of later as I would grow and move to Oklahoma and become, I call this home now. I've been here since I was 17. What the actual meaning of this day should be and how it should be celebrated. I think it's very appropriate that Okmulgee bring prominence to this day for what we should regard it as, and that's we need to celebrate that Indigenous peoples were not only here first, but just what they've contributed to our culture, what they've contributed to our society, what they continue to contribute on a daily basis. And we're thankful for that, and I think it's important that our whole community recognize the importance of that.
It would be nice to say the whole community was behind it, but we all kind of know that there are some people out there who aren't. Yeah. And they feel like this is something that shouldn't be happening, replacing Columbus with Indigenous Day. So what might you say to those folks?
Well, I would say to those, look particularly at our roots here in Okmulgee. Look at who even established this city first, who had a presence in this city first. What are we standing beside? A symbol of something that stood longer, this council house here, than our city has formally been established. So I would think anybody who looks at the history of Okmulgee, looks at the history of Creek Nation, would have to recognize that this is the appropriate way to celebrate what used to be known as Columbus Day, but what we're going to call Indigenous Peoples Day.
Chief?
Couldn't have said it much better. At least we could show the working relationship as two government. Tribal government with the city of Okmulgee, with his government, and just be an example how we can work with, the state of Oklahoma as well as the government. So, if anything, I think it would just strengthen our relationship better, much better.
Okay, final question, gentlemen. Ever since the McGirt decision, there have been some separations, some people wondering what's going to happen. First of all, Mayor, has there been any problems or challenges come up in working together or recognizing law and order, things like that? What are your thoughts?
Sure, there have been challenges, and Chief and I first met when I was serving as vice mayor back in March. So prior to the McGirt ruling, we were kind of talking about a cross-step, a cross-commission. It is my hope that we can reach that. We're having ongoing meetings. We've had meetings with our state attorney general on this, and so there are challenges, and there's a history there that both myself and Chief have looked each other in the eye and have said, you know what, we can work past this. We can work through this. But I'm going to say, and I don't know if this hopefully be reflected in the Chief's thoughts, but I can say from our end, from the city of Okmulgee, that I know, I'm looking to work past those issues and to find a solution, not find, I guess, problems and challenges we could all point out of what would stand in the way of those obstacles. But let's talk about the solutions to get past those obstacles so that we can better serve the citizens of the entire city, which happen to be Creek and happen to be everyone's Okmulgeean as well.
Same thing. We can't help what happened probably 8-10 years ago, whatever the issue may be, but we are willing to work it out. And just, I think majority of it just educating everyone and the law enforcement what we can and cannot do as far as tribal side as well as the law enforcement within our district. And I think that's just mainly what it is, just educating everyone what we can really do. And it's just basically just going to benefit the state of Oklahoma as well. Just having a reservation status, just basically the law enforcement just having two hands. Just flip it over, and now you're a light horse. So just educating everyone. I mean, we can work through this. I believe as of right now, out of 83 law enforcement, we have 65, 66 maybe, cross-deputized. So we're getting there. Originally we started out at 30 plus, but it's growing. So definitely just have that working relationship, what it takes.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it. Can I talk to you for a second?
Yes, sir. Do I need to have a mask
on? Not unless you want to. I'm Gary Fife with Mvskoke Radio. What's your name and where are you from?
My name is Gordon M. Hula. I am from Anadarko, Oklahoma, represent the Kiowa Apache Nation.
Now, that's a long way from home. Why is it important for you to be here today taking part in, taking part in what is primarily a Mvskoke observance here today?
Well, our tribes have always been in this land together for quite some time. Like they said earlier, immemorable. So we've shared this land for quite some time, and I feel that it's important that all tribes come together in unison and support one another, regardless of what things we've encountered through the foundations of this nation. But today we stand with them, bring our prayers and our songs together to support them.
Your flag song was quite moving.
Thank you. Yes, that was composed by my people. We share it. We have social gatherings and we utilize it. But we've had several tribal people that have served this country, and I believe that their story should be told also. They used our languages to save this nation. And our people need to be recognized for those kind of things from prominent people that established this nation. So that's why we come to support them here today.
Oh, can I speak with you, ma'am? Hi, I'm Gary Five with Mvskoke Radio. Why is it important for this observance to be happening here today?
Because of our history and our tradition.
Hang on a second. Let me get your name and where you're from.
Elizabeth Townsend. I'm from here in Okmulgee, but by way of Hannah, Oklahoma. Yeah.
Where the watermelons come from, huh?
Yes.
Okay, and once again, why is it so important for this day to happen?
Because of the history that we have, we as Mvskoke people have, and the great traditions that we have, and that's been handed down to us from our ancestors. My great-grandmother was 9 months old when the Great Removal started, and she was sitting, her parents had been killed, and she was sitting out in front playing when somebody picked her up, and as they were being removed, and they brought her here. And that's how come we are here.
Is it important to replace Columbus with Indigenous?
Yes, because really and truly, Columbus did not discover us. We were here. I've been told by my ancestors that we've been here all along. That People say we come from Russia or Siberia or whatever, but I don't believe that because I know what my ancestors have told me. I mean, older people that were my ancestors. I have my family tree goes back about 8 or 9 generations, and they're all full-blood Mvskoke Creeks. So in remembrance of them and others that were on the Trail of Tears, I think it's important that we remember them and to keep our history and our traditions alive and to teach our children the same, that they not forget who they are and who we are.
Mado, can I ask you some of the same questions? Sure. What's your name and where are you from?
I'm Ann Townsend Edwards, and I'm from right here in Okmulgee by way of Hannah, just like my mother. And I work for the Historic and Cultural Preservation Department with the Mvskoke Nation.
Why is it so important for this observance to take place?
Well, I think it's important for people to know, that we've always been here, that we are First Nations people, and this land is our land. And we celebrate it today with brothers and sisters from other tribes across the nation who have been known as First Nations people as well. We were here first. Columbus did not discover America. We've always been here. We've always known that.
Okay, Mado.
Yeah.
Oh
here in the capital of the Mvskoke Nation, right here in Okmulgee?
Oh, for me, it's a great feeling, to see the city behind us. We have a big presence here, so it feels good for them to meet us halfway and say, you're here, and we're glad you're here, we're proud of you.
If when you wander around, you're going to hear people who aren't happy about this kind of thing saying we shouldn't replace Columbus, or why should those Indians get a special day, that sort of thing. What would you tell them if you have the chance?
Well, I guess I couldn't say it here, but for the most part, we were always here. We were here before Columbus. We were here before Christianity. We were here before a lot of things that you're celebrating, all year long. It's only right. We deserve more than a day, if you ask me. We deserve more than a month. We're a strong, resilient people that have lived through everything imaginable, and to be honored with a day is we'll take it, but it's should be more.
Any final thoughts about it?
No, I'm like I said, I'm happy. It's not what you want, but you're happy with what you get, and you be grateful. Okay.
Principal Chief David Hill.
Yeah, what time? Okay, we got all the bugs out of our system.
Okay.
Let me get your name and a title as it relates to the event.
I'm Brenda Golden, and I'm one of the co-organizers of the event.
It's quite a chore here, and it's a nice turnout.
Very good
Beautiful
turnout.
day. First of all, why is it so important for this to happen?
Well, look at all the young people here today, and that's why it's important, because we need to show that we're proud of our ancestry, we're proud of our heritage, and we're proud of who we are.
And why is it so important that it occur here in Okmulgee, the capital of the Mvskoke Nation?
Because we have a very large population of Native Americans here in the Okmulgee area, and it's not just Mvskoke Creek. I mean, we have all different tribes here, and this is for a unity of all of our Native American population, not just the Mvskoke Creek. But it's very important because this is our nation's capital.
Is it a symbol, do you think, for this to occur? Is it something important that the non-Native community know about?
I believe it's very educational for the non-Native community because the federal holiday, Columbus Day, is celebrated and offices and banks are closed all across Oklahoma. And this is one way that we can debunk that myth of Columbus discovering the United States or discovering America. We were already here when he got here, and so it's just important that we acknowledge the fact that we are the indigenous people of this land.
There are going to be some in this community and around the country who are not happy with Columbus being replaced by an indigenous observation. And it takes various forms, of course. But what would you say to those folks?
Well, I think if you look at the history of Columbus and how atrocious he treated Native people, and not just Native people, but the Taino, the Espanolas, he was really a horrible person. And all across the United States, statues of Columbus have been coming down in recent months and toppled over and pushed into rivers and lakes. And it's not that we're trying to topple anything other than educate others that, he was not a good person and what he did should not be honored.
So in a sense, you are toppling that stereotypical image.
Yes, we are. He's not a hero. He did not sail the ocean blue and find the uninhabited lands. He didn't discover anything. And, like I said, he was a really horrible person to a lot of Native indigenous people back in that time.
Okay. Now, you've seen an interesting crowd here today, elders and some young people, and sentiments vary a bit to more of, we're glad to see it happen, to much stronger feelings. What do you think about drawing such a cross-section of Mvskoke Nation here?
Well, I think that, what we have here is really a wonderful turnout. Like I said, we've got old, we've got new, we've got babies, we've got, non-natives here, and I think it shows a testament to the community coming together like this.
All right, that was a look back at Indigenous Day in 2020. We thought we'd give you a nice little taste of what was happening earlier this year, or past year rather. And apologies for the levels being low. We'll try and work on our recordings here. We're going to take a short pause here, and then we're going to be right back. We're going to talk about mentoring Mvskoke youth. So stay with us here on Mvskoke Radio.
Who am I? Am I native? I don't want people assuming things because I'm Indian. I just want to be me. But how do I live in two worlds? Some guys just check out by doing meth. But that ain't for me. Because I see my family, my friends, my drum making, my future. There are a lot of cool things about being who I am. And meth isn't one of them.
Learn more at ncai.org. A message from the Partnership for a Drug-Free America and the National Congress of American Indians.
Kick off the new year with a triple dose of the Tulsa Oilers at the BOK Center January 8th, 9th, and 10th. Come cheer on the Oilers as they face off against the Utah Grizzlies. Puck drops at 7:05 p.m. Friday and Saturday night and 4:05 p.m. Sunday. Buy tickets today by phone or text 918-632-7825 or online at TulsaOilers.com. Tulsa Oilers Hockey. Fun for the entire family. That's Tulsa Oilers Hockey at the BOK Center January 8th, 9th and 10th.
And their schedule continues on through the month of January, so if you can, get out and check out an Oilers hockey game. All right, we're going to take some time here and speak with on a different subject. Let me grab my note here. Samantha Kuhn from Youth Services Specialist is joining us here in the studio here on Mvskoke Radio. This is Youth Mentoring Month across the nation. Is it correct?
Yes. January is National Mentoring Month.
All right. As we usually do with our guests, let's take a couple of moments here to find out a bit about your program, what you do, who you serve, and where you do it.
All right. Well, Mado for having me on. Like I said, my name is Samantha Kuhn. I'm one of the youth services specialists with the Mvskoke Nation Youth Services Program. And the Mvskoke Nation Youth Services, I just want to tell you a little bit about it. Our program was actually created in October 2014. So this year we will be celebrating our birthday again in October, of course. And we actually serve youth up to the age of 24 in our program. We have a lot of different activities, events, different types of support that we do for the youth, for all our Mvskoke youth. And that's just a little bit about it. There's a couple of things you might want to know that one of our main mission statement for our program is to empower Mvskoke youth by connecting to culture, community, and resources. And going along with that, actually, our program goals, there are a few program goals that we do have. And
I have no idea. No idea what
my time is up.
Yes, okay. Next. Yeah, okay. Well, let me back up a little bit here. We often deal with youth programs and look at what's going on. Where the heck is that coming from? Not me, so I can't blame Mvskoke Radio for this one. We have, there we go. Hey, we got knocked loose. We have watched Native communities over a couple of decades. Mm-hmm. And at times it seemed like the youth were kind of the weak link, losing contact with culture and language and religion and familiar connections and things like that. And some tribes have gotten real aggressive about fixing it.
Mhm.
Others are, kind of trying to get their programs together. So I know this is going to put you on the spot just a little bit, but how would you assess how the Mvskoke Creek Nation is doing? I know we've got a real good language program. We want to attract people, educational programs, things are there. So how would you say we're doing?
As being here I've been an employee with the tribe in this program for a little over a year now. And I think even before then, going back to even when I was younger, there weren't as many, or I felt like there wasn't as many opportunities as there are right now for our youth. Even though this time of COVID is here and happening, it puts a limitation on a lot of different things and a lot of different outlets and opportunities and events that our youth could take part of. But I would say that, the tribe is doing a really good job, offering, whether it's language classes. I know that through youth services this past year during quarantine, there was actually a youth-led language class that they wanted to start for themselves. And so they started it up. It was led by 2 of our young people on youth council, actually. And I thought it was really amazing. And of course, for myself, it always would choke me up because, to hear younger people, younger than myself, speak the language, learn the language, it's always amazing to me. But, even going through, whether it's like cultural activities, learning new things, learning about the culture, if it's like traditional things too, I think that the tribe is doing a really good job. There are a lot of things that we could do still to even push that further for our young people. And, I think that's steps that we're taking right now in doing that. And so I'm excited to be a part of that and to see it actually come about.
I would agree with you to see this happen within our lifetime. I remember when I was perhaps your age, many, many decades ago, there wasn't much around. And the programs that were around seemed to serve the same 20 people over and over and over and over. And it kind of irritated me. But then to see changes in leadership and directive and priorities, like language and things like this, culture, it's just so wonderful because, this is real. This is what we can touch. And to hear young people who are far more fluent in the language than I will ever be, it makes me proud and thinking we've got some hope for the future. So in tackling a problem like this, or a challenge, let's call it, what kind of programs have you all put together that you foster, that you endorse?
Where there's many different ones. There's different opportunities like the youth are, presented with, whether it's in like school or in their community, or through the nation that they might want to take a part of. And, a part of our program is to be able to encourage and help that and support that in one of our Mvskoke Youth Opportunity Grants. So that's one way that, we're able to be of a support and help to our young people. Another one would be different types of events that we want to schedule. We would be able to schedule events to be out in the public, of course, being there with, collaborating with different programs. But with COVID right now, it has been very difficult to get those, to really get that in person, because as Native people, as Mvskoke people, we're family and we want to be in person and to see each other. But right now, we are not able to do that. And, we want to think of the safety and health of our young people as well as our elders and our coworkers. And so, looking to different types of things that we can do online. So, the shift to being online is really big right now and is going to continue to be big. But just providing even cultural activities, through our program. We had beading classes, learning how to bead. And so we had that this past October, November. We've had moccasin making classes. That's going to go on to learn how to do make traditional pucker toe moccasins. And there's a lot more that are scheduled too, but right now we are actually shifting into even more virtual opportunities for our young people with our mentoring program. So that's one thing we're really ready to focus on too.
By the way, we are, turn the darn mic up. We are doing this interview, and both of us are masked, even though it's radio and you can't see us, but we are practicing safe procedures here. Now, the idea of providing this kind of information for young people, as I said earlier, hadn't been around when I was a young person, but it is now. And do you get any feedback from the young folks about how they feel about learning something or gaining a skill such as, moccasin making, things like that? And maybe why that sort of thing is important. But first of all, how do they feel? What do they tell you?
Well, I think one of the first things that I do hear back from, younger people that have been a part of the program or even with our activities that we have is that, it's a challenge to them, but two, it's something fun. And even just hearing back from youth, I still think back to one particular youth that she may not have been as connected to, her Mvskoke culture, to our culture. And so this was just something small and something tangible to her, knowing this is a part of who I am. This is, where I come from. This is, who and what it could be for me to be Mvskoke. And so she was excited. I think that's the big thing too, is she was excited to learn something new and to learn about her culture, because she may not have ever had the opportunity to do anything like this before, especially where she's from. And so I think that was really neat. That was really cool for me to hear and to hear back from her on that.
I think it's that sense of accomplishment, of trying to learn something, working through it, and then becoming successful, and then seeing a result.
Yeah.
Or hearing a result.
Yeah.
Best example I can think of is, going to a language class and learning different phrases, but not only how to say them, but what do they mean? What do the components represent? How are they put together to make this?
Yeah.
I have a good example is our cat. We got this little kitten that my wife brought home, and she asked me, what's the Mvskoke word for this? And I thought, well, wait a minute, I know that. Let's see, Bozy. Bozy is cat right now. Okay. Since it's a little one, we'll call it Bozaji. How's that? And the name stuck. Now she's Bozy Taco, but I thought, my gosh, I did learn something, and that's ours, our language and things like this. Now, are there other formal classes that you conduct?
There are, if there's a need right now, we're wanting to do more cultural activities and things like that with our youth through online means, really. But if you go to our website, which is mvskokeyouth.com, and it's the traditional spelling of Mvskoke, there is a tab that has an events calendar. And so there are different types of events we're usually scheduling or we're posting, because, we collaborate with other departments and other programs too. And so there are other opportunities for you to join in and check those things out. And, whether it's with, maybe higher education or, a wellness opportunity for them. We're doing wellness classes right now and or wellness webinars. And, those can be viewed like online, or they can be viewed live too, like on Facebook. And so, that's the opportunity for our youth to be able to focus, on themselves as well, and, promoting health and wellness, and whether it is getting in shape or it's just taking that time out for themselves too, and even for their families. That's something that we provide as well. And so you're able to see on that schedule the different types of events, whether it is like a cultural event or it could be an education event, something like that. But
let's talk about the mentors, the teachers, for a second here. I presume that they would have to have some kind of qualifications, some abilities and skills, and
yeah,
you probably, I would assume there's some sort of screening procedure that goes on there. So what does it take to be a mentor?
Well, I think, maybe even with that, like if we go back just a little bit to like what a mentor is, because that's kind of like one of the questions that we would hear is like, okay, well, so what is a mentor, like, and who can be a mentor? A mentor is just going to be a person that is going to provide support and help to a young person, and because we do work with young people, so it's going to be a young person, and just to provide, care, and just to help them be able to process a lot of things that they go throughout their life, throughout their day, throughout their week, and just to be somebody that's going to be there for them. And it may be somebody outside the family. But for our Mvskoke Mentors, our program, it is going to be, again, a person, an adult. There are qualifications. You do have to be at least 21 years of age. And then there's also some commitments to that, which our program is going to be a 9-month run program. So it'll be over 9 months, and we ask that our mentors would actually be available at least 1 hour a week to spend time with their mentee, so the young person. There's also going to be a screening process. So, we're not just going to be, willy-nilly like, oh yeah, you can be a mentor. There's going to be a process. There's an application process actually. That is up right now on our website. And so it's going to be virtual, but you can also download the app and you can email it or mail it back to us if you're able to do that. After the application process, there is also, you're going to do an interview with our staff, and then there's also a background check that you will have to go through. There's going to be personal references that we will check, character references that we would see, who you are, your background in that type of way, and then also a drug screen too.
In other words, you really take some steps to make
sure
yes. You get
definitely.
Good people in there. Now, as we're winding down, we've got a few minutes left. What about the mentee? What about people who come in to learn?
Well, that's a good question too. With our mentees, we are, serving our Native youth, and we're asking that they would be, students 6th grade to 12th grade right now. Also that they would be able to agree to work with a mentor for this 9-month period. And, at a minimum, just meeting with them at least an hour a week. And also that they would be, able to complete the application, or there might be somebody that might refer a mentee to our program. And so there's also, a form that they can fill out for that too as well. And once that application is complete, they will go through a smaller screening process. And so they would do an interview. We would actually interview them and see, what types of things they like, or just to get to know them a little bit more. And then also with the family too. So the family is a big part of it. It's not just, the mentor and the mentee, it's the family as well, the parent, guardians. So we want to get to know them too as well. And then just there's an orientation training that they would go through, an initial training, and then even afterwards, there's more support that we would be able as well.
So it sounds like you take all the precautions you can for the teacher, for the student, and on the student side, it's kind of like the family. altogether. So
Yeah.
it's not as easy as it sounds. It's not like a babysitting service or something like that.
Yeah, it's not a babysitting service. With our Muskogee mentors, we really want it to be a part of our mentors being able to share, their experiences that they may have had in their lives, if it's like education or work or things that they did, hobbies, but also to learn together and then help this young person succeed at the things that they want to. We want them to achieve personal goals that they have for themselves, and being able to achieve those goals, we want them to be able to do it in a positive relationship, with an adult and a role model that, is a upstanding tribal citizen. We want our citizens to be able to take a part of that opportunity in the lives of another younger person. Our people helping our people.
It sounds like, in a sense, then it's a personal test for these young people, like showing them what a worth ethic is these days, and seeing whether or not they've got what it takes to commit and fulfill that commitment.
Yeah.
So that's, I guess, a soul-searching kind of thing. You think, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. Really.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I tell you what, I'm sure there are going to be people who are interested in the program, both either as a mentor or a mentee. So how would people get in touch with you?
Well, they can actually go to our website again, and it's muskogeeyouth.com /Muskogee Mentors. And it's a little pull down tab. You can see it on our website. And of course, it's the traditional spelling of Muskogee. They can go there, fill out the application right then and there. It'll take a little bit of time, but they can also download it. And they can email it back to us if they want to fill it out at a later time, or they can mail it in to us, and our information is actually there. They can call if they have any more questions at 918-549-2557, and they can ask for myself, Samantha, or you can email questions to us too at muskogeementors@mcn-nsn.gov. And again, if they have any questions, they're welcome to call, send them emails, find us on Facebook or things like that too.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, Samantha Kuhn. We appreciate you coming in and sharing this information. We wish you and your program and all the mentees the best of success. Mado. We'll be back again next week with more Mvskoke Radio. Until then, Gary Fife, Jeho Jifkidas. Mado Mabo Hedgetsgood. You've been listening to Mvskoke Radio. Join us again next week for more local, tribal, and community news and updates. Mado.